Good Friday. In this video, we're going to be looking at the potential for a surprise snow, some new data coming in as early as Friday morning for the potential for some snow right along the coast into the Northeast. We're also watching that snow exit the Great Lakes. That's going to impact parts of New York State up into New England. And we're also watching another storm slam into the west. This is going to be the first round of rain and snow here, another one on the way, and some really cold air up here across Canada. That's going to move south as we head into the weekend. Across the four corner states, we're quiet. We're generally quiet across the central United States too, and relatively mild out here as well as our flow pushes up into Canada. All right, let's put this into motion. You can see our storm starting to take shape right here off the coast. This is where low pressure is trying to develop. You can kind of see that curve here, a little bit of cyclonic flow. I've been talking about that over the last couple of days, how there could be some kind of surprise here out of this system. The newest NOAA model data suggests that we are going to see that. I'm not 100% sold. The National Weather Service isn't either. They're still in that lower range of snow, but I want to take this and look at some of the newest data that just came out. Let's start with an overall picture of the entire country, all right? So I know a lot of folks from all across the country are watching, even some folks into Canada. Thanks for checking out the videos here, guys, on YouTube. If it's your first time, I'm Travis. I used to be a chief meteorologist on television years ago. I've been out of that business, but now I just find myself looking at this type of data. So if you like it, come back. Let's look at, again, across the country, we've got our rain moving into the west. A little bit of light snow up here into Saskatchewan and also back into really Alberta, north here, pretty far north. High pressure overall, though, building south here into the United States. That's going to keep us dry. Really here across the south, the disturbed weather here into the northeast, and there's that low off the coast moving north and east. Across the west, high pressure still holding on here, keeping temperatures above normal for this time of year. That's going to continue as we head into the weekend. Behind our system, whatever happens along the coast, I don't think it really matters. We're going to turn cold, and the wind is really going to pick up as Arctic high pressure builds in. We've got this one system moving into the west as we head into Saturday. Snow levels are pretty high with this one. It's going to bring some rain, some snow. A lot of that energy gets pushed north into British Columbia, putting some heavy snow up into the mountains here. And the lake effect snow starts to settle down as we head into the weekend. Not as much as we've seen really earlier this month and even into November around the Great Lakes. A little bit of a break across the Pacific Northwest, but that does not last with more rain and snow. And this system looks a little more significant heading into Sunday night into Monday. Across the east, high pressure keeping us dry. We see some warmer air moving north here across the Central Plains too. Not a lot of precipitation in the forecast here through the weekend. And then that snow starts to spread inland. So now we've got snow into parts of Montana, really western Montana, into Idaho, and then trying to get into parts of Utah and Colorado. Most of that heading north here. A weak clipper system moves through the Great Lakes. That's going to bring our next chance of snow for Wisconsin over to Michigan and then into parts of New York, timing this out sometime Monday afternoon, Monday evening, into Monday night. So now we're into Christmas Eve morning with some light snow moving into western New York, southern parts of Ontario, and another system moving into the west, putting some heavy snow pretty far north, though. We're talking about British Columbia here, as overall we've got this ridge in the west with your trough here in the east that is actually starting to lift out. On the northeast side of this, we've got that clipper system diving in. That could give us a little bit of surprise snow here. I mean, maybe not a surprise if we see it coming, right? But if you're looking for a white Christmas, I don't know that you see it all the way down to New York City, but there could be some snowflakes and flurries to kind of get you in the mood, I guess. The best chance for accumulating snow, in my opinion, will be, again, north and west of I-95. However, some could sneak into Boston, and we could see some snow try to sneak into New York, maybe even New Jersey and PA. Once we get into Christmas morning, the return flow starts here. So we've got rain showers moving north from the Gulf Coast, also into the southeast around Georgia, South Carolina. And then now we're dropping some snow here a little bit further to the south across the west, down into Utah. Some of it tries to get into northern Arizona, northern parts of New Mexico. We'll have to wait and see on that. And high pressure builds east through the rest of Christmas Day, keeping us relatively dry here in the northeast. Temperatures on the way up here across Texas and then really all the way up toward the Great Lakes as we start to see that return flow off the Gulf. And then this looks like a much more significant system moving into the west by Thursday and Friday. This is going to pull our snow levels down, I think, as we head toward the end of next week and then cool things off in the long term, at least for the Pacific Northwest. Now, beyond this, again, it's really hard to get into a lot of detail with things, but I think we stay active, we stay stormy, heading toward the new year, and there is a chance of some severe weather too. Right here, there could be some on the south side of this piece of energy, and then watch out as we head toward the 29th and 30th if we do indeed get some sort of big mid-latitude cyclone wrapping up across the plain states. Watch out here on the south side of this. Let's dig into some of the details, though, because there is the potential for some snow into the northeast, and some of it could be heavy here. The newest NAM model, this is the data we're going to look at right now, trying to put some heavier snow into Connecticut, Rhode Island. This is just one run. If you go back 6 hours ago, this wasn't quite the case, but the new model run uses new data. It actually pulls in actual physical data and a little more to work with the numbers here, so the models typically do a little better job. So the NAM trying to put that snow here right along the coast from New York, yes, New York City, up to Boston. The question is, are we going to be a little too warm with that easterly flow off the ocean? So that may limit our chances for snow here. And then it looks like we get some snow down here into the Appalachians and some weak lake effect snow behind this system too. These are snow totals on the latest HRRR, just kind of looking at things. You can see it really mutes the snow outside of right here up toward Boston, right along the coast of Massachusetts. But I want to show you the newest NAM operational run that just came out here on Friday morning. It's trying to put more snow here. I don't know that it's accounting for much melting or anything like that here, but it's trying to show snow here from New York City out to Long Island, maybe a coating to a couple of inches. I think you take a little bit off of this. I mean, even if you were to see this much precipitation, I don't know that you would see that much snow. But if we can dynamically cool and we can get a quick band of snow, that's the thing. It's all going to be about the precipitation rate. And if it could come down fast enough, I don't see why somebody couldn't end up with a surprise here, possibly in eastern Massachusetts. This would put some decent plowable snow down in some areas. I don't know that I believe it just yet. That's, again, we're right down to the wire here, so you see this much difference in the short-range models. It's got to go. You got to think there's a chance of seeing that. The problem with, I think, right here in the southeast Mass, you've got some onshore flow here as we head into the afternoon warming up. But again, if you can get the precipitation rates to pick up, you'll likely cool enough that you could see some accumulating snow. And look how close it is to freezing here. It's so borderline. Now, better chance if we can get the snow up here into Massachusetts, Connecticut, inland away from the water, temperatures in the lower 30s to upper 20s, cold enough to support that snow. So pretty wild to see that, though, on the newest NAM model that just came out, again, Friday morning. Snow across these southern Appalachians still looking likely. Let's take it out in time a little bit further as we head into Saturday morning. We've got some winter weather advisories here from West Virginia down into the mountains of North Carolina. Maybe a coating, a dusting or so from Bristol. You get up onto the Cumberland Plateau, maybe a little bit of snow here. But the best chance for snow, I think, would be right here along the Tennessee, North Carolina line, up into higher elevations of southwest Virginia. Mount Rogers, also down here into the Cumberland Plateau, a trace to a couple of inches, but get up in elevation, you could see 2, 3, 4 inches of snow, and that extends north into southern West Virginia, and not necessarily up toward Charleston, although there could be a coating of snow, and that's the same could be said back here along the Ohio River, back into Indiana and Ohio. This just isn't a big snow for you guys with this setup right now. Now, let's move things ahead in time. We're going to start with the Great Lakes here. I showed you the national outlook. We're going to dive in a little bit here with that lake effect continuing through Saturday. It starts to shut down somewhat as we head into Sunday as high pressure builds in. And then here comes our Clipper system through the Great Lakes. It's going to start to impact parts of Wisconsin. So maybe some more snow from Green Bay to Milwaukee. Doesn't look like a huge snow, but watch out here into central Michigan. It looks like the Michigan, Indiana, Ohio line will be the southern extent of this system as well. Now we're moving into Tuesday night, or I should say Tuesday morning rather, and that moves into the northeast with maybe, again, a chance of some snow down here into the cities. Looks more likely up into the Poconos, north up towards Rochester, maybe even some snow up toward the Capital District, up toward Albany, and then north into northern parts of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and then maybe some. Do we get the snow into Maryland? I mean, is this going to be your Christmas surprise? I don't know. And it doesn't look like a big snow, but maybe some festive snowflakes in the forecast. Again, here's a look at your snow totals. There's the best chance of seeing accumulating snow. Outside of that, just a trace to maybe an inch or so. That's what we're looking at right now. I'll be keeping an eye on it over the next couple of days. Across the west, this is where things are active. I like to take this view because we're looking out into the Pacific. You can see that onshore flow here, storm after storm, just slamming into the northwest, and you can kind of see how everything dodging the southwest with a bit of a ridge here, keeping us dry. Some changes on the way here as we head toward the Christmas Day time period with some snow again, maybe moving into the Four Corners states. We talked about that. Here's a closer look at the Pacific Northwest. There's that rain and snow heading into Saturday. Those snow levels pretty high here into the Pacific Northwest. A bit of a break. And then this second system on Sunday, I think, is going to pack more of a punch Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening, bringing that snow and rain back into the region with some decent wind here too. Snow levels, take a look at this, pretty high through Sunday, mostly up into British Columbia. That's where the best chance for some decent accumulating snow will be. But we'll start to see some snow try to work into the Sierra as we head toward Tuesday and Wednesday, and also here into the Intermountain West. Here's a quick look at the upper level pattern moving through Christmas. There's your trough in the east. You've got these disturbances that are moving through. That's that Clipper system on Monday and Tuesday. And then, you've got this upper low that's trying to develop on the southern side of our ridge that's developing up here across Canada. We're watching these impulses that are swinging through. Do we see some type of severe weather event with this one heading into the 25th, 26th, 27th? I think that's something to watch. Also, look how this chunk of cold air breaks off from your main energy here heading into next week. The models do a terrible job with forecasting these upper lows, so I don't want to pinpoint anything. But the idea, though, I think, of this ridging here across Canada looks to be there. And now, as we head toward the second and third, I still think it turns cold from the central and eastern U.S. We're still warm out west. This Pacific flow going here with that strong jet stream just slamming here. And then another shot of cold air for the east, I think, as we start 2025. Long term, again, there's your European weeklies. Cold here through the 8th, the 9th, the 10th. And some of that lifts out, I think, as we head toward the end of the month. That's all I got. See you next time.